Hello and welcome to episode 7 of our Timberborn Update 6 Wonders of Water playthrough here with the Iron Teeth faction in Cycle 13, Day 2. Last time, we got a whole bunch of cool stuff done, and we've actually progressed pretty far through the game, in my opinion, for the first 6 full episodes. Normally, most of this stuff doesn't get done until I'm at least at episode 15 of a series, but this is such a small map, and we focused so hard in the first 5 episodes that we really surpassed my expectations, and I'm very pleased. But there's still so much that needs to get done. You'll remember last time we put all these oak trees up here. They are marked for cutting, except for these in the back that were previously land. So let's go ahead and make sure we get those taken care of so we don't have any nasty surprises later. And let's go ahead and start moving on to what we're doing today. Among other things, I want to expand our mangrove growing here with the help of our dynamite, which we can very easily do. So I'll just start planting these things in places where they will fit, and we will keep ourselves up to date on what needs to be done here. The main goal, I think, should be to start process of building this giant reservoir over here. And we've had a lot of good suggestions and a lot of good input from you guys in the comments, so thank you for that. And in fact, one of our beard boosters and longtime channel watcher, Drexos, made a design for me that I think we're going to end up using. And it's going to look pretty good in terms of shuttling bad water off the side. I don't have everything unlocked yet to build with it, but I can go ahead and unlock these overhangs and the sluices, and we'll do a little bit of a demonstration here. So let's pretend that these levees, these 3, are our source blocks. Obviously, I can't build on these yet because everything hasn't been moved around. But if these are our source blocks, what we can actually do... I'm going to turn these the other way so they act like they're not the same block, but we can come in with our overhangs. Something to this general effect. And actually, let's use the 3x here. This isn't exactly what he put in, but it's going to be close enough for me to demonstrate, and then when we actually go to build... you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. But the idea is you have sluice gates here and here, and because we're not waterproofing this, the water will come straight up the side. I guess I could just go ahead and say that this is going to be blocked off on the side here as well. And then in front, underneath, all that mess, we'll get this taken care of so it actually looks correct. But the idea is the water inside ends up being fully sealed up, so it has to come up through here. And this, of course, will be capped, but just to show you how this works, the bad water would go off this side, off the back of the map, and then, of course, this would be blocked up on the side here. These would be set to open, well, technically set to close below contamination of 1%, because that's the way this language is put in the game. But if the water's not contaminated, this bank of 3 sluices would be closed. If it is contaminated, this bank of 3 sluices would be closed. Just set that to 1%. Oh, they have plus and minus buttons now. Okay, cool. That actually could be part of the simple floodgate triggers mod, but I digress. Basically, it's just a shunt, an on-off switch, if you will. Good water goes this way, bad water goes this way. No amount of it is ever stored in here, except for, you know, this space right here in the middle. And this, of course, would be covered with the waterproof, impermeable floors, whatever you want to call them, so that nothing can leak out. It would just go out the back or out the front. And this, of course, would be built on our source blocks once everything gets blasted around. Or I could just have it come straight up this way and leave this little bit of ground in. Pressure-wise, it should be able to handle just going up a 1x3 thing just like this. Build it as high as we want, and it should end up working very well once we get there. Obviously, we don't want them to build all this mess that I have somehow failed to select correctly, so we won't let them construct that. But that's kind of what we're aspiring to do here. I don't know if we're going to get to building that today, but we are going to start the process of, at the very least, enlarging this area and maybe exploring some other stuff as well. I saw at least one comment saying it would be cool to have a like an elevated reservoir. using these overhangs, so we can still retain some farmland under here, because it does not matter if the land is accessible to the sky or not. As long as it is watered, crops will grow. So if we can create some sort of a reservoir, either by just blasting out all the terrain here, so we have a nice big flat thing, and then just build a big reservoir on stilts, it's going to defy the laws of physics in terms of how just obnoxiously heavy water actually is, and it should not be able to be supported on stilts in a volume of that capacity, but the game doesn't care, the beavers don't care, and therefore I don't care. So we're going to try and do something pretty cool here. And then, of course, there's other things we have to get to as well. But long term, I think we're going to want to continue raising the upper boundaries of this corner at the very least. I'm going to leave this as it is, these natural overhangs, because I think this looks really cool. And I think the general bounds of the reservoir, regardless of whatever the bottom looks like, probably should be about this corner of the map-ish. We might have to measure it out. I know this is a 50 by 100 map. So if we take a look at our path building here, it'll let us go, what? Was it 10? Or maybe it's not, no, it's not path building, it's dynamite, excuse me. So that's 10 right there. 10 gets us to the edge of this guy. And then from there, obviously it's not going to play super nice because everything's not on the same level. But this is 3, this is 6, this is 9, this is 10. So this would be 20 to the left side of this dynamite. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So actually, where this levee is right now is exactly 25 from this corner. So in between the left side of this block and the emptiness of this block is the exact middle of this side of the map. So that actually works out really well. I think we can go ahead and work with that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. And if we keep the same here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wow. Yeah, okay, you know what? We can work with that. We can work with that. I will just need to blast this corner out to about here. Well, I don't need to, but for the sake of stuff looking nice, I think that would be cool. And that would give us a little bit more space down here to grow things. And then we can play with maybe putting in, not these 3x3s or 5x5s. Well, we could, actually. Depending on how we want to deal with putting supports in, might actually be better to do the 5x5s. But this is 90 metal blocks. So for a 5x5 platform, 90 metal blocks, we would have to have 5 of these 5x1 overhangs to cover the same amount of ground. But there would be 5 points of contact, so it's really only 20 blocks underneath versus 24 blocks because this 5x5 only has one support in the middle. But I digress. 5 of these would be 50 metal blocks. And it would be a whole lot of planks, a whole lot of logs versus just 90 metal. But you might notice we only have 12 metal blocks here. The game does not still need to be paused, by the way. I'll just go ahead and turn that back on. But for us to really build any sort of huge scale in terms of metal construction, we're going to have a mine. Yes, I know there's scrap here and there's scrap here, but it's not going to be enough for us to just tear those down and process. We're going to have the mine, and we're going to have to be ready to use it. So, unfortunately, as awesome of an idea as this is, not going to be done to the degree of completion that I think we all want to see within the bounds of today's episode. But we can continue keeping on like we want to, and we'll see what we can get done. Now, we have a decision to make. I've got 2 dynamite right here. If I set this off, it's going to expose another side of this water source, and in theory, nothing should happen to the water source. It's just going to open up another side. If we want to, I can get rid of this dynamite. I can keep this piece of land here as well. Then we can just keep building up from here. depending on how we want to do it. I don't know whether or not that's going to be something we want to get into, if we want to just keep it simple, stupid, and move on from there. Because in theory, we can build the design I was talking about earlier, where the water sources are, as long as I can build something over the top of them and on either side, then it would work. I don't even technically have to blast this out. But if we have a bad water ejector out the back of the map, we can have this feed into the bottom of a reservoir, and it's not going to matter because there's always going to be that pressure there. And it'll just work because, of course, the sluices are one way. So we don't actually have to have this be a super huge towering thing, go all the way up to the top of the map and then cascade down. It can just push from the bottom. And as long as we have our sluices set up correctly, it will never contaminate. And as we go on, we can just make the reservoir taller and taller and taller, and have a spillway off the very top of it. Or we could just change these triple floodgates out for sluices, and everything would be perfectly fine, because again, sluices are one way. That's not a sluice. Sluices are one way only. And they also have the ability, so they don't build this, this downstream depth thing right here. This just slides infinitely down to where it meets the ground below. So in theory, the sluice can be any height as long as it has a clear path down to what you would consider the bottom of the next stream, like say for example this thing right here. It can be adjusted any height up to the top of its own block. So it really doesn't matter where you place it, as long as you're trying to control the depth of the outflow, and you don't need it to be higher than this. Everything is fine. It can be fully automated so that it only releases enough water to keep whatever's downstream filled up. That's what makes these blocks great, and we haven't messed with them yet because I was in a little bit of a panic mode trying to get everything accomplished as soon as possible in the first several episodes of the series. But moving forward, we are going to change these into sluices. I know a couple of you asked about that, like, hey, why haven't you done this yet? Well, that's why. Because I know the floodgates are idiot-proof, so long as you're not that big of an idiot, and you automate them to close when they need to be closed, you just manually open them and everything's going to be okay. But anyway, that's what we're working with. I think for right now, we're fine to just continue business as usual. And you know what? I think for what we're working with, I actually don't want to blow this up any more than it already is. Instead, I'm going to focus on blowing up behind it so we can have our bad water ejection happen here. So in the interest of getting stuff accomplished, I guess I'll just do these two at a time here. We won't go all the way down to where this can flow out yet. Hopefully we get a drought soon, because this will make it a whole lot easier to mess with. And we'll see what we can do. But like I said, there's still plenty of stuff we can do in the meantime. Water storage is a big problem. Not just in terms of having a reservoir, but in terms of having these tanks. Right now we have a capacity of 1290, which for 80 beavers is honestly plenty, but we got these guys who use a ton of water. Well, in theory. They use a lot of water, and they need to, you can't run out of water or all your food's going to die. Obviously, you can't run out of water or all the beavers are going to die. So that causes problems as well. We've got injured beavers. 15! 15! Alright. Before I get any more comments accusing me of being American, guilty as charged, we need to put in some medical beds. And actually, care for our injured beavers here. So, we'll just go ahead and build a cool 10 additional beds. How many injured was it? 14. Okay, well, yeah, I'll just go ahead and build a few more. So we definitely want those beavers to get healed up so we can, fulfill all of our jobs and not have problems. Alright, nobody step on the dynamite, please. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Alright, mangroves going in here. Goal is to eventually have a lot of this area just be a mangrove farm so we can have plenty of fruits. We do have full storage. Almost full storage. 160 out of 200 is looking fine. And then, of course, we have everything down here. It is... Wait, why... Oh, okay, no, that's flooding because I did this. All right, we're good. We are okay. As long as this catches up, which hopefully doesn't involve any more sloshing around. Yeah, we've got to... I also forgot about the dirt excavator kind of complicated things a little bit here. The flow pattern seems to be, shall we say, adjusted in ways that are really not ideal. So we're going to have to blow up these pieces of land right here, these four, so water can flow as it needs to flow. Build some more storage for dirt because we really need to be acquiring as much dirt as we possibly can. So I don't have to run this forever. Especially if we're going to be building the outer walls of this out of dirt. Had a couple comments saying different things about what they'd like the reservoirs to look like. Some advocating for wood, some advocating for dirt. So we could do both. There's no reason why we can't do both, but what we can't do is we cannot put terrain blocks on top of anything that is not already terrain, including these overhangs. So the outside, the bounding walls on the outside can all be dirt, but everything coming in on the inside, like these right here, is going to have to be levees. So we'll get a little bit of the best of both worlds. We'll see what happens. And we'll just have to keep our wits about us as we continue working on everything here. Alright, so this is ready to get detonated. That should hopefully stop a little bit of the flooding we're dealing with here. Obviously, there's only so much we can do about bad water flowing in different places. So, that's going to be an interesting problem to solve, but that shouldn't really be that much of an issue anymore now that all the water has a free path here. Obviously, this dirt excavator cannot actually remove any more terrain blocks than it already has. We just have to be able to put the dirt somewhere once it is pulled out of the ground. So since we're going to be building over here, figured there is no better time than the present for us to go ahead and build a little bit of dirt storage. We can actually completely disconnect here through here, with the exception of, well, actually, no, because we have all that mess. I can turn that guy that way, put some more dirt here, and there we go. And now, day 9. If I blow up any more here, then we're going to have problems with everything flowing off the end of the map. But what I can do, save myself a little bit of grief here, I can go ahead and make this a sluice gate here. And then I just have to build up on this side. Should not be very hard at all. And since this is currently ground anyway, why don't we... I know this is a little bit of a dangerous game, but we're not too far away from being able to just, you know, do this as it should be done here. That's going to have to come in from, I guess... Well, no, you know what? Because we have bridges. We don't have to worry about it. Don't have to worry about it. I'm just going to end up blocking this in at some point. So these 3 will be paused, so we don't have any cataclysms. But I'm going to need to go ahead and build a sluice here. And then we'll start blowing this up. Just replace these. Then, of course, build on top of them. Again, not with dirt, because that's not how it works. But with a regular old levee. And actually, this way, we won't even need to use the overhangs, except to come in from the side, and we only need to use one. I think, if I've done this correctly, Those of you who have prototype designs, if this is not what you are specifically talking about, I do apologize. But we're going to try to do this live like we always do. Well, recorded, but I mean, I'm not going to stop to go look at something. I could, and some people would argue I probably should for the sake of content quality, but you know that's not how we do things here. We do our best to do our best with what we have, if that makes sense. So, I believe I might actually... Hold on here. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm just using up science points like it's going out of style, but this, I think, is actually going to be the best possible, most compact way to do it. Impermeable floors. Just go right on top of this bad boy. And then I suppose, as long as this is kept as its own thing here, just put a levee in, or I could put an impermeable floor. It would do the same things. That's blocked on all sides. And then just have sluices on top of here, here, and here. Of course, they can't build that until the dirt's underneath it. I really hope this works and doesn't have a pressurization problem, but you know how that goes. Sometimes bad things happen, and you can't do anything about it, except not be dumb, which is a very entirely preventable thing. And then sometimes you just say nonsense because you say nonsense, and that's also just the way it goes. 400 science, we can do it. Just pop that right there. And then they can build up from up top here. But while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and close below contamination 1%. This one will also close below contamination at 1%. These that have not yet been built will close above contamination 1%. And these will all do the same thing. No depth restrictions. In theory, this should work perfectly well. Since they were only ever coming off of the front side of these in the first place, and the waterfall limit is 2.2, and these I'm pretty sure are strength 1. Let's go ahead and check. So we'll go into dev mode real quick. Oh, they're 1.5. 1.5 to 1.5. Well, that's still not enough. Come out of dev mode. That's still not enough to overcome the waterfall limit. So, if we build in front of these like we are currently trying to do, then it'll just come up, and it's not going to have a problem going off of either one. Well below the limit, so everything should be okay. Alright, explode this dynamite. And then one more sluice right here on the back. And it will match what these guys are doing as well. So, I think we are in good shape to be able to get this done. We just have to, you know, ah, yes, a bad tide. Well, fortunately, we have this secondary line of defense here. By secondary line of defense, I mean the primary line of defense, because we already took care of this. Got 1,200 water, but we don't have storage. Yeah, that was the problem and why I didn't have the large tank unlocked before, but we're going to want it. And more than that, we're going to need it. So, in the best interest of the beavers, I'm going to place right here, just because it's convenient. Biggest priority possible. Build this. I think they can do it before the the bad tide starts. And we can just go ahead and make them put all the stuff in here. I think the 4 water pumps for right now are probably still adequate. We just need more storage so they can get ahead during the good tides, and then bad tides and droughts, they don't have to work at all. That's the goal. The only doubt I have is whether or not they'll be able to get all these materials in here before the bad tide actually starts. But I think this is a very solid, simple, foolproof design. Although you know what happens when you say something is foolproof. Nature finds a bigger fool to test the foolproof ability of that. That's fine. All of this metal is gone, which means these can go away. And now they're going to be working over here. So that's all looking good. So while we're doing that, let's take a second and talk about what we're doing up here. We had a couple of suggestions of different things we can do for housing. Notably, building something around this waterfall, under the waterfall, etc. Is a good idea for some housing. We might still put some stuff down here too, but I think the one we eventually want to go with is building a big like tower up here over this water source here. Well, it's not a source, but you get the idea. Put that over there. We still water all these trees, but we're going to build platforms, these overhangs here, over this, and then put housing on top of it. And then on top of that, we can use our impermeable floors and everything, and we can build a rooftop swimming pool complex. I think that's a really cool idea. And it should have absolutely no problem working. It's just going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt to do. But I think we can do it. And this is a small enough map where we're not going to have a whole lot of challenges in terms of getting the resources moved around. Everything's pretty compact. I think it's possible for us to get several hundred beavers in here and have it not be completely ridiculous and completely stupid looking. Just a little ridiculous and a little stupid, but that's the way we like it. So, we are actually closer than I thought we'd be. Looking pretty good. We might actually have this start to get filled up before the bad tide starts. So we will let them take care of that. Right, like so. And there you go. They're going to get this all brought in. Look how quick this is going. Sheesh. But now our capacity should be about, 2,500, just shy. And they're not going to pump enough in the next half a day to fill this up. But having headroom is great. And they've already pumped another, 200? I think? Since we got this built, now that there's the extra headroom. So that is very exciting, very good to see. These trees are still growing, and they're going to take a couple more days to get in here. So we're going to want to go ahead. And I'm just going to... yeah, I'll get those dynamited out. We'll plant a couple more of these mangroves here. And that's going to be that. But it is bad tide time now. We'll see those gates shoot all the way up. Yes, sirree. All right, so bad tide started. It's only 4 days. Could definitely be a whole lot worse. And we have our medium tanks down to about half-ish. And the large tank, wow, they almost got it up halfway. Pretty good. Obviously, 1,300 water is going to be more than enough for 4 days. So that's good to see that. Still waiting on a little bit more dynamite to come in here before we can expand our mangroves. Got a little bit more flow happening still from our bad tide thing here. And, of course, the bad water here is getting shunted off the edge of the map. But now, friends, now is the time for us to test out everything happening here. Let's unpause our terrain blocks and get these guys going, because this whole cap here is already done. And as soon as these sluices have a hint of the bad water, they're going to open right up, and it's going to go off the edge of the map. Props to Neil H here, dutifully pumping away, even though his pump is submerged in 100% bad water. Still getting a little bit of regular water out for us to use. Although, between you and me, I don't think it's going to be working very much longer. Not exactly what we want to be seeing here. So I'm going to go ahead and just, manually pause this so Neil can go do something else with his life. And see, look at this. Already at the point where it's open. And we should see... Well, maybe there's not quite... There it goes. Got a little bit of flow coming out the back. I love that this works. I mean, I didn't have any reason for it not to work, but... Yeah. Feels good to, actually do something right. So thank you very much, Drexos and everyone else who submitted ideas for how to do this. I really like it when people contribute to what we're building here. So I always appreciate your efforts. Especially when they're good ideas like this. That's a great stuff. So we'll go ahead and let them do that. Take care of what they need to take care of. We're probably at the point now where we should consider building additional storages for finished food products. Right now we just have these right here. You know, medium storages, which is fine, and with 85 beavers, that's like a day and a third, day and a half worth of food per beaver per item, assuming they were going to only eat that food on any given day. So it's fine. But if we want to be serious about having a large beaver population at some point in the future, it's not going to cut it. So what we need to think about now is, how do we want to move forward with our food storage? Where do we want it to be? And a bunch of different stuff like that. We have, of course, plenty of space over here with which to work. We have space we haven't even begun messing with over here. I've already started building these little storage towers for industrial purposes. But we could also put food over here, especially since we have all of our food production, well, kind of in this general area. Our food factories are here, the fermenters are here. But right now, these three have managed to keep up pretty well. Probably want to build more at some point in the future. But considering that it is a bad tide and our demand is outpacing supply, I'm going to turn these engines on. They don't have to be staffed anymore as of a update or two ago. Update or two meaning sometime in episode 5. Wow. Update 5. I have done way more than 5 episodes of Update 5 content. Oh boy, probably over 100 something at this point. If you count the water beavers, maybe like 150. I digress. The engines, at some point in the past, were updated so that they no longer have to have a direct employee. Which is great, because that was really annoying having to lose beavers to, hey, I gotta haul logs over here. Well, instead you can just make the haulers do it. So that's good. We're not going to flood over here anymore. I'm pretty, well, especially not with this. I'm pretty sure that's taken care of. So, since we have terraforming available, I think it's probably time to go ahead and start dumping some of that dirt over here so we can utilize this land nice and level. Not really a reason to build it up to this level other than it was already here. We can't put a double, like a huge storage underneath any of this, and I think long term this is going to be better off as farmable land anyway. So we want to have the regular terrain blocks here. And then I think we probably can prevent bad water contamination if we take all of our water wheels out and put impermeable floors underneath them. And then build them back in. I'm 90% sure that should work. But, oh no, for that to work we'd have to take all this land out too. Well, maybe we won't work on that. Maybe we'll do something else. I know we can build irrigation barriers, but that will take up an entire block worth of space. Depending on how we want to do it. Yeah, because you know what we could do, actually? I know I keep pausing the game, it's probably driving you guys completely nuts. What we can do is I can just build irrigation barriers here and put platforms on top, because you know the water is never going to be high enough to come over here and go over the barriers. And I have treated planks that we probably should... Yeah, okay. Let's do that. Let's do that. I hope that works. I mean, there's no reason for it not to, but I just want to see what we're going to be working with here. Alright, so leave them to do that. Everything is flowing. Oh, look at that. It's beautiful. Absolutely glorious, folks. So now, no matter what, the bad water will never come through here again. This was just going to have to get flushed out. Which is fine. And in fact... yeah, we probably want to go ahead and start blasting out what we can blast out this way. Yeah, just leave space for that to flow off. You don't want it to be right on the edge of the map. Actually, I don't even know if I could... Yeah, you can't build it on the edge of the map, so that's just about perfect. We will leave this this 2 deep here, I think. And then just have this come out... like so. If we blast this out, we are going to have to put in another impermeable barrier, or just leave it at that height and then come in forward that side. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm thinking out loud. There's not really any particular rhyme or reason to how I end up doing this most of the time. If you haven't figured that out already. Let's see, that's 3, that's 6. This would be 9. This would be 10 right here. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 is here. 1, 2, 3. Ah, so 25 by 25 would actually put that edge of that right here in between these 2 pieces, which is unfortunately in the middle of this nice little arch here. So instead, I think what we're going to have to do is just have this be a 20 here. There's also not really a compelling reason to keep it this way, but I like numbers that are even, or a commonly rounded number, like say 25. So if we just do 20 this way, by 25 this way, and have it extend over all of this, then I think we're going to be in pretty good shape. I said I wanted a volume of 6 on the inside, so this would be the 7th. And the 6 on the inside here would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would be the 7th. So, at least for right now, this needs to get blasted down. So I will just go ahead and start doing that. We'll just double dynamite. Do I have extract? I do. I have regular dynamite. Making enough science. So I'm just, yeah, I'm going to unlock the triples. Why not? So that'll be, oh, that's a quad actually, but we got to do what we got to do. The reason I'm blasting this all the way down is because I want to be able to build the platforms over what we've got going on here. I've got to check the vertical clearance. I'm pretty sure, yeah, for berries it really doesn't matter. So if we want this to remain berry land over here, then all I've got to do is make sure I have one thing of clearance there. Cassavas also are great for one block of clearance. Corn and soybeans and eggplants. Eggplants are, okay. But corn, soybeans, and all that apparently don't care. Never mind. I misspoke. There's something you have to understand about how my brain and my mouth decide to work together, is that they don't work together a lot of the time. Don't know why, but what I meant to say was that the corn and the soybeans don't play nice with the overhangs without them being on a support. The eggplants and the kohlrabis and the cassava do. So, you know what's going to be great about this? Is all I got to do is have this entire area here to about here completely covered, and it's not going to have to be any higher than what the ground currently is plus the overhang. That'll be fun math to figure out while we you know, continue to work on ourselves here. So we'll just get this blasted down all the way. It'll be a process. It's going to take a little bit of time, but that's how we like things here, isn't it? And if you said no, well, you're a liar. I don't make the rules. But anyway, I think we're going to have a really good time trying to make some sort of stupid, crazy thing happen here. Yeah, so that wall... Actually, the outside wall of this is going to end up being dirt. If the inside volume is 20, then that means this actually needs to be blasted down and replaced with a... just go ahead and do the double. Yeah, replaced with wood. With the exception of right here, I'm going to leave this and then Yeah, okay, this will be wood, and then this can actually just be a walkway around because that's how this is currently set up. And yes, I will open the floodgates. I know you're all just absolutely waiting to pound out in those comment sections. You didn't open the floodgates, put a sluice in. We're working on it. I promise. I promise. And we do have sluices. They're beautiful, and they're wonderful, and I love them forever. We just don't have sluices in the exact spot you guys are asking me to put sluices. But again, we'll get there. We'll get there. You gotta trust the process. Yeah, so... this here, we're gonna have... 4, and then... that... 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, perfecto. Perfecto. Making our way downtown. Except I don't have a piano to drive. Unfortunately. That's a deep cut. It was a popular enough song, I'm sure you guys are going to catch up on that. Alright. Yeah, so what I'm thinking of doing is building this in stages. In case it wasn't already abundantly clear, I'm just going to have this end up matching here, and then we'll build the platform on which, well, the platform will be built. That doesn't make any sense. Look, it's going to make sense when I build it, all right? You just... You got to trust... You got to trust the process. Trust my really, slightly dysfunctional mind, and know that eventually it's going to work out. It's going to look pretty cool, but, going to be a little bit of an effort to get to that point. So, since we no longer have bad tide coming through here, I can get rid of all these, collect these pieces, and work on planting some other stuff as we get there. Another thing we have to consider is that since this is all going to be covered over anyway, I can actually reclaim this land for growing by filling this in and then just irrigating it with a 3x3 dump like I've got over here. And I'm sure there's some sort of actual number of tiles around that can irrigate based on the size of this thing. I would imagine that math is going to work out to make a 3x3 thing be maybe right around here-ish to reach everywhere. But we're not going to get that far today anyway. So we're just going to wait and see what happens with all of that. And this, of course, is 3 blocks. As a reminder, for right now, we're going to be blasting this down. And then I will go right ahead and for the purposes of what we are trying to do, a 6x1 overhang might be a little bit much, but I really should have done my math on this earlier, but I didn't. It happens. So let's see. Let's just pause here. I know that's everyone's most favorite thing ever. Get that done. All right, so this right here, for right now, is the boundary of our inside dimension being 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this is 21. It's coming out all the way, I guess, if I want to be exact, the corner of this farmhouse. I'm not leaving those there. Maybe I am. Maybe I am just for right now. We're gonna have to. I'll just have him build that. The corner of this house, farmhouse right here. This corner, not this left corner where the door is. This corner right here is going to be where the corner of the eventual thing is going to be. So that means I've got to get there. Which means our overhangs again. I don't want to use the 3000 science. Not for right now. Because all I'm trying to do is figure out exactly what this is going to look like. And I can hypothetically build just like this and have it be okay. Just trying to reach an exact location here. It doesn't have to look nice. It just has to be there. All right, so one more from that. So that, viewed from above, this is going to be the dimension of our giant suspended tank thing. And it matches up there, perfectly like so. All we have to do is figure out what I have to put in this area to get this all to fit. 5x5 platform seems like the keep it simple, stupid thing. Easy way to do it. Once this is in place with the dirt here, that's going to be maybe a little more challenging to figure out. But bear with me with the theory crafting here. I know it's a little frustrating to try to figure out what in the insert your favorite word here I'm talking about. I don't want to unlock that either. This is so hard to do without actually spending science. I guess maybe I shouldn't worry about it because I'm going to end up using these things anyway. But 5x5, it would not end up being here. It would actually end up being in this spot here. But it's going to be 25 inclusive. No, actually, that's exclusive of 25. The inside of this is going to be 24, right? Okay, so that's 10 right here. This is 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so the 25 is inclusive of the corner. The 20 here is before I get to... Jeez. Why am I like this? Genuinely, why am I like this? What am I doing, man? Alright, so if I want it to be 20 by 25 on the inside, then I think what I'm going to have to do is actually build this out one more, which I no longer need this to be here anyway. Build out one more here, and then I have this corner of the farmhouse actually be inside the very edge. All right, so that would make this length, this side length 21, this side length 26. Does it matter? Probably not. Have I made a giant deal about this and used a whole lot of recording time to just pontificate about nothingness? Yes. But it's fine. That's a much easier landmark to work with than all of this other nonsense. So we'll go ahead and take these incredible uglinesses out and let them do what they've got to do. Nice and easy. So now the fun can actually begin. We can get this completely blown up and move on with our lives. Yeah, the other fun part is I don't have easy access to down here quite yet. Quite yet. So we might end up, obviously not right now, but maybe next episode I'll end up just doing a big time lapse of this so I don't have to subject you all to complete torture by trying to figure out, you know, how to get this blasted down and build platforms over everything and figure out the radius of our little irrigation canals and all that good stuff. Such a fun time, right? Okay. What I do have right now is the ability to put in a little bit more dynamite, set that off. And then, yes, take a look at our pollution here, which you will note, perfectly green, very nice. This also over here is perfectly green, but that could just be because we have clean water flowing through here as well. So let's do a little experiment. Oh, that's going to cause problems. Hold on. I'm going to force this sluice open just for right now. Never mind, I've flooded everything. Good job, me. Anyway, I have artificially restricted the flow of clean water. Now I have to check and see what's going on. Ah, okay, so that has not stopped here because these have not gotten any, well, anything put under there, but I need to put irrigation barriers anyway as soon as we get down this way. Anyway, that's what I wanted to find out. But these are protecting these, so you know that works. I can insert your favorite four-letter word, this. Now turn that back to auto, turn that back to auto, turn that back to open, and solve our problems. All right, we're going to have a little bit of surgy flow back here for a little while, but that's fine. We are learning. We're gaining valuable insights, and it's fine. We will accept ourselves with all of our flaws. That's what I tell myself, at least. Alright, so that's looking good. Just need a couple more extract. I probably should build some tanks up here. But the goal for right now is to just get this process started as best as I can while not wasting too many people's time. I think we're going to be fine. Now, what might be kind of cool would be for us to have a self-filling without a fluid dump, a self-filling irrigation thing where I would basically make a 3x3 hole and then above it have a sluice gate in the bottom of the reservoir that would only open. It would be tied to one of these stream gauges. It would only open if the level inside the irrigation pool is below a certain amount. It would open, fill the pool back up, and then close. I think it would be possible to build that directly from above. I might actually have to prototype that off-stream. It's a video, not a stream, whatever. I might have to prototype that off-screen and see if it's even possible before I spend time in an actual video to do it, but I think that would be kind of cool. If you think that would be cool, let me know in the comments. If you think it would be stupid or if you know it won't work, tell me in the comments so I don't waste everybody's time. But I think that would be a really interesting thing to try, at the very least. So now we're getting to the point where it's probably about time for us to go ahead and wrap today's episode up in a little bit. So what have we learned? We have learned that I am bad at math, which we already knew. But we've also learned that this really elegant, simple solution is a great idea for controlling bad water. Anyone can build it. It's not expensive. You just have to have the actual terrain on your side in your map, whatever map you're playing on. This isn't obviously is not going to work for everybody. But for this particular map, this is a great idea. Super quick, super cheap to build, and it just works. Absolute win. No matter what. So since this is the way it is, we actually don't need to have these floodgates here. But I think I'm going to just leave this the way it is for now, so we can just keep this stream path until we have to reorient everything. I think that's going to be a smart idea. So we'll just keep on working on getting this situated. I think if we want to be smart about this, so this is 6 here to this wall. We have to build something here. If I just do 5x5s, honestly, 5x5 unlock, I'm going to have to get these berries out of here and regrow them probably. But that would get me all the way to the edge of what we're looking at here. Then I could just build straight out. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be actually viable. Let's just test this real quick by unplanting this specific... You know what? No, I'm not going to wait for them to unplant it. I'm just going to demolish it. But if that goes there, that'll be 2 there, 2 there. For the purposes of just, you know, having something available, I want them to just grab this piece out. Let's prioritize that. I'm just going to mock this up really quick so we don't have a conniption if this doesn't work later. All right, so that would be 5x5 right to the corner. This would be the next center here. So this, it probably could be a little bit lower, maybe one step lower to clear the farmhouse. Actually, let's try that right now. In this episode, I theorycraft and make a bunch of people really mad. Yeah, okay. That's going to work. That's going to be our height. That is going to be our height right there, because then I can have farmhouses underneath. So what that means is I'm going to unlock the triples. And then that guy is going to go right there. That guy is going to go right there. No, I'm not going to build these immediately, because I want to probably reroute this river a little bit. But if I can get this to work... Oh boy, is this going to be something else. 1, 2, 1, 2... Here, like so. Obviously, I want to pause these so they don't actually get built. But I really like this idea. I really like this idea. I do not remember who it was who first suggested that we have a reservoir over the top of farmland or something. It could have been a couple of you, and if that's the case, then, well, I guess I'm glad I didn't credit one person who would not have been completely responsible for it. But yeah, look at this. Look at this. It's going to work. It's going to work. Oh, this is so broken. I love it to death. I love this game so much you have no idea. Well, you might have some idea. But, let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 here. Okay, so what this is going to allow us to do is this is going to allow us to be in a really, really good spot, folks. Really good spot. The 5x5 will go here, and here, and here, and here-ish here. And then I'm just going to have a space that's 3x5 to fill in here, which I don't think is going to be too terribly hard. Once I blast this all the way down, I'm going to actually be able to put another one in. And it's going to be perfect. It's going to be absolutely perfect. It's a 4x3 grid of these 5x5 oh my god, dude. It's going to work. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. It's going to be awesome. I never do these mega builds like this. I never ever do them. So I am, to borrow a saying from the Brits, I am chuffed to bits. I forget who it was who I first heard that from. Might have been Mumbo Jumbo on a Minecraft video like 10 years ago. I don't know. It's been a long time. But I am so excited about this, man. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. I really ought to do more stuff like this. This is so cool. Toasty. Yes, indeed. Isn't it so exciting to see something born out of a simple comment and theorized collectively in our minds come together and hopefully be something really, really cool? I love the beaver game, folks. I hope you do too. So, all of that being said, I think this is going to be about the best possible place to stop for today. We will do a time-lapse next episode of getting all of this dynamite laid and blasted down and get everything just completely set up perfectly for this beautiful grid of excessive water storage to be constructed here. I am so glad you're watching this series. Thank you so much for the support, all of the comments, all the ideas, roasting, whatever it is. I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad we get to spend this time together. Beard Boosters, thank you for supporting the channel. Genuinely, would not be possible without your support. And of course, everyone watching, whether you're part of that list or not, even if you never say hi in the comments or whatever, I am so glad you're here. I'm so thankful for the opportunity to get to make these videos as a substantial part of supporting myself and people I care about on this planet. You guys are awesome. This game is awesome. We're going to have a fantastic time in the next episode, which unfortunately for all of you is going to have to wait until Monday, but it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. We have Water Beavers tomorrow, and then Sunday will be Roller Coaster Tycoon back. And man, we got so much cool stuff going on the channel now, man. I love this so much. But that's going to be it for today. We got a drought approaching in 3 days. I'll see you next time. Stay safe, have fun. Bye-bye.